Hunger strike for me stands out as a major happening in my lifetime, and I believe it will be so in the history of modern Ireland. It's still hard for those of us who were closely involved with the hunger strikers and their families to go back there in our memories, and I've found it hard always to speak on the subject, because it was an intensely emotional and painful time for nationalists and Republican people, but also a great sense of solidarity. But it was much more. Something else, something more profound happened in '81 that changed forever the political landscape and had resonances for the Irish struggle far beyond these shores and far beyond that time. It was a watershed period in our history, and things would never be the same again. And no doubt, to me, these 10 men died for us, and they died to make us equal. I remember the day of the count and stepping forward to accept the seat on behalf of Bobby Sands and on behalf of the prisoners. The atmosphere in the tech was electric. The world media was there. There were hundreds of RUC, and there was huge tension. And I can still hear in my mind Danny Morrison's huge cheer as he interrupted the returning officer when he announced that Bobby Sands had got 39,492 votes. And of course the place went wild. It was a defining moment. It is as if we didn't realise it. Against all the odds, we had won, and Fermanagh and South Tyrone had delivered, and I was very proud. It was a crucial victory, but in my naivety I thought that it would save Bobby Sands' life. But of course we know that it didn't. I first met Bobby Sands when he was 30 days on hunger strike, and saw him roughly for the next 30 days. Those first visits, he was in good shape, able to be up. He was keen to know what was happening. Of course, he knew much more than I did, as he was central to the strike and in constant contact with the outside. Unlike the photograph of a long-haired man, he was actually short-haired, but he was strong in character and committed and concerned, and despite his surroundings and where he was and who was around him, he was sincere and gentle. I remember well my last visit with him on the Saturday before he died. He was really weak, he was blind, he was totally gaunt and emaciated, lying on a sheepskin rug on a waterbed because his bones were sticking out, and he could barely speak. He asked me if there was any change in things, and I said not, and he replied, "Well," he says, "that's it then." I was shocked by the imminence of his death. We all knew that time was getting short. I was at home in Mackin on the Monday night, Tuesday morning of May the 5th, when a few minutes after 1, Jim Gibney phoned me to say that Bobby Sands had died at 1:10. On the day of his funeral, I remember looking backwards from the hearse and seeing the 100,000 strong crowd. It was with great difficulty that I spoke at the funeral in Milltown, but I managed to get through it, and I hope I said some of the right things. But of course, it was a time of tremendous crisis, a time of battle, when the prisoners and the Republican people were standing shoulder to shoulder against Britain. After 217 days of hope, of despair, of suffering and exceptional courage, the prisoners called off their strike in early October. It was an extraordinary time. Never before had the Irish situation hit the world stage. Bobby Sands and the hunger strikers were known all over the world, and Britain were now in the dock of world public opinion. The struggle was now seen clearly for what it was, a political issue between Britain and Ireland. As Sands wrote, "What is gained for the Republic. What is lost for the Republic." I think the hunger strike changed a lot. It certainly broke the British criminalisation strategy. It refuted Britain's role in Ireland and showed her as the aggressor and occupier. It politicised Republicans and nationalists and gave us some strength. The prisoners ultimately got their demands and won a huge moral victory. Nationalists and Republicans were matured and politicised. I and the nationalist people are now more equal than before, more confident now in pushing onwards for the freedom in the Republic that is yet to be achieved. It's a time to remember, and the memories of these 10 men must be cherished, because somehow they have won a freedom for us we didn't have, and the price of that freedom has been so great.